Hey guys, it's Placeholder. So I'm here with the version 3.3.0 update notes for Splatoon 3. Let's see what we got. Changes DLC, added support for Inkopolis DLC. Players who have purchased the Splatoon 3 expansion pass Inkopolis and Side Order DLC can now travel between Inkopolis and Splatsville using the train station or square. Inkopolis has the same shops and features as Splatsville. Shops in Inkopolis also have the same lineup of products as Splatsville. If you buy something in one location, it will be set up for the day in both locations. That's unfortunate. They have the same, they have the exact same stock each day. Season and catalog changes. On February 28th, 2023, 4 p.m. PST, data relating to first season 2023 was added to the game. This includes new catalog, including new gear, titles, splash tags, decorations, stickers, and emotes. New gear brand Z plus F. About 126 new items added to store product lineups. 2 new battle stages, Umami, Ruins, and Manta Maria. Umami. 2 new special weapons, Kraken Royale and Super Jump. 12 new sets of existing main weapons paired with different sub and special weapons. 23 new table turf battle cards. Prizes that can be obtained by trading fish scales or Grisco. You can earn more catalog points than usual during the week before the end of the season thanks to a new special closeout bonus. Changes to the notification feature. Added the pool feature. The pool feature allows players to send and receive notifications with other players in the same pool. Players can enter a phrase to join a pool by opening the lobby menu, selecting the Notifications tab, and pressing the plus button. For example, if you enter Turf War fans, you'll be able to send and receive notifications to players who've also entered Turf War fans. You'll be able to join in or drop in on other players' games during using notifications. While there isn't a limit on how many people can join the same pool, there may be cases in which notifications won't be sent to all members if a large number of players are connected to the same pool simultaneously. When you receive an invitation to play, or a fresh notification will be displayed on the screen. Changes to multiplayer. New special weapons have been added. Weapon sets with these special will be available in the shops at the start of first season 2023. Special weapon Kraken Royale details. Transform into a huge squid or octopus and attack by pressing the B button to jump or by holding and releasing the Z button to do a charge attack. You will be vulnerable for a moment before and after transforming, but you won't take any damage from attacks while transformed. Super Jump. Aim and scatter a bunch of balloon-like decoys in a certain area. Markings that look like Super Jump landing spots will display on the ground where the decoys will land. The decoys can be destroyed if hit by an attack. Decoys that aren't destroyed will explode after a certain amount of time, inking the turf around them and dealing damage. New weapons have been added. These weapons will be available in the shops at the start of fresh season 2023. New Splashomatic has Squid Beacons, Killer Whale 5.1, New Splashomatic with Suction Bomb and Triple Ink Strike, ends up 89 with Auto Bomb and Super Chump, .96 scale Deco with Splash Ball and Kraken Royale, Custom Jet Scorcher with Toxic Mist and Ink Storm, L3 Nozzle Nose DE with Burst Bomb and Ultra Stamp, Rapid Blaster Deco with Torpedo and Inkjet, Clash Blaster Neo with Curling Bomb and Super Chump, Kraken Splat Roller with Squid Beacon and Kraken Royale, Z plus F Splat Charger with Splash Ball and Triple Ink Strike, Z plus F Splatter Scope with Splash Ball and Triple Ink Strike, Tri-Slosh Nouveau with Fizzy Bomb and Tactical. Specifications for some main weapons have changed. Main weapon, Big Swiggerola, change details. Roughly double the amount of damage dealt to non-player objects, splash walls, relics, etc. when striking them with ink. Specifications for some weapons and sub-weapons have changed. Sub-weapons change details. First one, increase the amount of time it takes for ink to begin recovering after being used by about 0.16 seconds. Specifications for some special weapons have changed. Trizuka, special weapon DJ. Trizuka, damage dealt to crab tank upper increased by about 20%. Killer Whale 5.1 made it easier to activate the effect from the special power-up gear ability, even when the player only has a few items with that gear ability equipped. Effect gained from equipping the maximum number of special gear ability power-up abilities will not change. Okay. Inkjet, damage dealt to crab tank armor increased by 2.5 times. Oh. Ultra Stamp, damage dealt to crab tank armor increased by about 3 times. So they made things do more damage to crab tank to deal with it. Interesting. Points required to use some special weapons have been changed. Aerospray MG went from 190 to 180, ends up 85 went from 190 to 180, Tri-Slash Nouveau went from 190 to 180, 4 points battling 200, and try string went from 200 to 190. Change the terrain some stages for some modes and reduce the impact of weapons shooting from far away. So E-Tail Alley was changed in all modes. Hacklefish Market was changed in Turf War, Splat Zones, and Clan Blitz. Mincemeat Metalwork was changed in Turf War, Splat Zones, Rainmaker, and Clan Blitz. Hammerhead Bridge was changed in all modes. Museum Delphin Caesar was changed in Turf War, Splat Zones, Rainmaker, and Clan Blitz. Mahi Mahi Resort was changed in Turf War and Splat Zones. Mako Mart was changed in Turf War, Splat Zones, Tower Control, Clan Blitz. Wahoo World was changed in Turf War, Splat Zones, and Clan Blitz. Your sound effect when activating Ultra Stamp is now less audible to teammates. Sound effect when activating Inject is now less audible to teammates. Sound effect when activating Crab Tank is now less audible to teammates. Okay. Changes to Samurai. Ooh, yes. A new King Salmon called Horrorburus may appear. Whether Cozy or Horrorburus appears will depend on the schedule at the time. Data relating to the upcoming Big Run event has been added. Data relating to the limited time extra work event has been added. In extra work, players can assemble a group of 2 to 4 players, for 4 friends or members from the same pool, and then compete against other teams, all using the same job scenario, to collect as many gold nuggets as possible during 5 waves. Both the initial hazard level and the job scenario for extra work are fixed, which means that every team will face off against the same examiners under the same conditions every time. However, if your team manages to exceed the golden eggs quota by enough, your hazard level will go up, making it possible to get a higher score. Oh. You'll now be able to preview items when exchanging fish scales, similar to how you can preview items at Hot Atlantis, etc. Oh, okay. Changes to connectivity made so that players will be notified when the connection is unstable. If the notification continues to be unstable, player controls will temporarily be disabled. Huh? Wasn't it always like that? Changes to Splatfest. Change the amount of XP required to level up Splatfest T. Splatfest T's with more gear abilities will no longer require more XP to level up than those with fewer gear abilities. Before, after 75. Ah, that's what I'm looking. Alright, I'm glad they did that. Okay, glad that they made that change. So it's like, so you can just grind out chunks nicely on it now. Winner of 10 times battle schedule will be announced during the Anarchy Splatcast. This announcement will be slayed automatically when in the lobby. It's not related to the timing of changes that happens every 2 hours. Slightly adjusted ink colors during tricolor turf war battles when color lock is turned on. When you win a 10 times battle, notification will be sent to your friends and members from the same pool. Oh, okay. Changes to lockers added a feature to store items placed in your locker at once. Press the minus button while editing your locker to use this feature. Okay, change to tabletop battle. It's now possible to play tabletop battle against friends and players in the same pool. You can create a room for tabletop battle in the lobby. Up to 10 players can join a room for tabletop battle. 2 players in the same room take a seat at tabletop battle. Tables on the second floor of the lobby. A game between the 2 will commence. You can watch a game between 2 players by approaching them and pressing the A button. You can also play with nearby friends via the same process at the shoal. Up to 8 players can join a room for tabletop battle at the shoal. Increase responsiveness to quick inputs made on the edit deck screen. Oh, okay. That'll be helpful, I think. Don't know if I'll notice it. Changes to the lobby. Added a jukebox to the lobby. You can use 100 cash to temporarily change the music playing in the lobby to a song of your choosing. You gain more songs to choose from as you progress in the game. When using the jukebox in the private battle room, the music you choose will also play in the lobbies of other players in that room. Other changes increase the number of badges that can be obtained based on player level. Oh, increased? That makes it sound like that was done before. I mean, there was at least some before. Oh, increase the number of items on display in the gear shop at once to 9. Oh yeah, they did do that. Any titles, banners, decorations, badges, or emotes from previous catalogs that haven't been obtained will now be available in the shell machine. Oh, okay. You can get stuff from our previous catalog in the shell machine now. Banners, decorations, badges, or emotes, yeah. Increase the image quality on some screens in photo mode. Increase the amount of time before screen burn in reduction activate in certain modes, such as while playing story mode or viewing replays. Oh, okay. To improve the matchmaking efficiency in open anarchy battles, teams will be disbanded and new players will be added if only a few current players select keep going. As before, when playing in a group with friends, the team will stay together regardless of the number of players remaining. This update focuses on adding support for Inkopolis portion of Splatoon 3 expansion pass and Inkopolis inside all the DLC, as well as adding data and features relating to fresh season 2023 and making adjustments to battles. For battles, changes are primarily focused on ensuring special weapon balance. We've made other changes with the intent of curtailing strategies that employed a repetitive use of certain sub-weapons. So, just burst bomb, huh? By analyzing data in this state at an early stage, we hope to release update data that includes main weapon adjustments before long. For Samurai, we've introduced a limited time extra work event in addition to a new King Salmon enemy. There'll be 1 or 2 extra work events during fresh season 2023. Looking forward to that. For now, you need a group of players to participate in extra work, but we will consider adding the option to join as a solo player in the future. Oh, so I can't do that by myself right now. Oh, that sucks. It's really just like League. You have to do it with friends. In addition to this, we have implemented various features, improvements, slide and so on, bug fixes. We plan on releasing the next update sometime around the end of March or the first half of April, and it will focus primarily on balance change adjustments. Bug fixes. Fixes player controls. Fixed an issue that caused some players who changed direction quickly to look unstable for a short while on the other players' screens. That allowed players to do a squid roll for a brief time when jumping from an inked floor onto an uninked floor while touching a wall. That prevented players from being able to submerge themselves in ink on the ground if landing on the ground while touching an uninked wall. Where players who held the R button after doing a squid roll off a wall could end up in the pose from using Killing Bomb, Fizzy Bomb, or Small Fry. Where players who did a horizontal swing with a roller and made contact with a torpedo after it had changed shape could sometimes be pushed back slightly. Where players who attacked an enemy with a roller by rolling into them but did not splat them could sometimes be pushed into directions. Where if certain special weapons were activated while a roller was being lifted up, ink would still fly forward even if the roller's movement was cut off by the activation of the special weapon. That made the ink from a carbon roller deco, flings a roller, look like a different texture than that of the ink from other rollers. It caused the barrel of a charger to move a lot while standing still and firing with low charge, causing the aiming trajectory to greatly differ from what was intended. Where if another player did dodge roll as they slipped through a grate, that player would appear on the other player's screen in a different place than they actually were for a longer time than expected. It caused a delay of up to 1 second before damage to Umbrella began to recover. The Umbrella was closed directly after blocking damage from a foe. That caused umbrellas fired on a slanted surface to tilt up and down more than usual. That caused umbrellas to be able to climb up steep inclines that they normally wouldn't be able to climb. Where if your umbrella was broken the moment you launched it, it would appear broken on your screen but continue moving on another player's screen. It made the other players using a Splatoon wipe appear to have ink in their weapon to everyone else, even if they were out of ink. That enabled players to climb to otherwise unreachable high terrain in rare cases when getting pushed back after touching an enemy's splash wall. That enabled players to climb otherwise unreachable high walls in certain stages while in Crab Tank's mobile mode. Where assists were incorrectly assigned where players who were moving slowly due to being sucked in by an inkback were splattered. That sometimes sent a player's wavebreaker far away when they tried placing it on an edge. Where players may not be returned to the spot where they activated a zipcast or inkjet, especially if they activated it right after landing on a grate in swim form after a super jump and subsequently fell off the stage. Where players would still appear to be taking ink damage if they took damage from an enemy's ink store while submerging, even if they swam around in ink. Fixes to multiplayer. Fixed an issue that caused the point at which a player is considered to have fallen off the stage to be lower than intended. Where ink from an enemy's sprinkler that hit a wall wouldn't drip on the other player's screen. That allowed fizzy bombs thrown a certain way to damage players when the big bubbler was on moving terrain. That caused certain Zipcaster, Crab Tank, and Reef Slider attacks to deal damage to opponents behind thin terrain. It prevented the Crab Tank's armor from taking damage if it touched the Rainmaker shield while in mobile mode. That caused the tactical to sometimes appear in different locations on the screen of the player who placed it on the screens of other players. That allowed the ZR button to be used to stop a Reef Slider even after a battle ended. Where players who tried to use Ink Storm while the rain cloud from their last Ink Storm was still on the stage would have the special gauge freeze for that battle. Where if you spotted a player who had a gear ability enabling them to see through terrain equipped, like Thermalink or Horns, etc., or using a special weapon that has an ink tank, like Inkjet, sometimes the ink tank would be the only thing the splatter player could see through terrain when they respawned. Adjusted the density of the border of splat zones when displayed through terrain and addressed an issue with visibility depending on ink color. Fixed an issue in tower control where using a trap tank on terrain around the tower would sometimes cause a crab tank to take control of the tower even if it wasn't on the tower. In Rainmaker, that caused players to sometimes clip into terrain if they got caught between the terrain and a Rainmaker shield. In Rainmaker, where performing a super jump onto checkpoints or the goal at a particular moment as they rose sometimes made players clip into them. In Clam Blitz, where the splash of ink that displays when throwing a power clam looked different than intended. In Clam Blitz, where if a player's power clam was sitting on top of a closed basket, it automatically count as the player clam going into the basket where the basket reappeared. In Clam Blitz, where if you repeated throw and pick up clams, throw and pick up clams for a short time, clams you picked up would sometimes not display or follow you. In Clam Blitz, where breaking an opponent's barrier as time ran out in a special 3-minute overtime after a scoreless regular match would not count. In Turf War and Splat Zones modes that allowed you to climb over certain obstacles and cross terrain unintended ways on Scorch Gorge gauge. In Near Tail Alley, that caused ink to fly up a bridge if a player splattered on the enemy while they were jumping under the bridge. In Rainmaker, that caused the goal distance in Notice Spell to change significantly if you jumped on an enemy sponge of a certain size while holding the Rainmaker. In Clam Blitz, where clams were not placed symmetrically at the start of a battle on the mincemeat metal work stage. In Tower Control, that allowed you to unintentionally climb walls from above certain fences on the Museum de Alfonsino stage. In Mahi Mai Resort, that caused the water level to not change for participants disconnected at certain times. In Rainmaker, where the announcement that your team had broken through the checkpoint wasn't displayed when you broke through a checkpoint first on the Mahi Mai Resort stage. In certain ships, you have a way if another player super jumped onto a moving drawbridge, they would appear on the other player's screen as having landed on the ground regardless of whether or not they actually landed on the drawbridge. In Mako Mart, the sometimes cause players to become stuck in the terrain. In Wahoo, that other players to unintentionally climb certain walls. In Wahoo, that sometimes cause players to come into the terrain when super jumping to certain locations. In Clam Blitz mode, where clams were placed at the start of it in such a way that they got stuck inside sponges on the ground with a spring stage. In Tower Control, Clam Blitz Turf War and Splat Zones modes, where you could climb up certain unclimbable walls on the Flounder Heights stage. In Tower Control and Rainmaker modes that allowed you to climb unclimbable walls and terrain on the Flounder Heights stage using methods not intended to be used. Fixed the Salmon Run. Fixed an issue that prevented players from escaping a flyfish's container if they entered while in life ring form. Oh, that thing, huh? That prevented players from moving while on top of a gusher in life ring form. That caused the timing of each player's super jump to be off. That caused no, that might change things. That caused salmonists to deviate from the set path, movement path and become stuck in terrain under certain conditions. Okay, that's probably good. Where players would be considered inactive and have communication cut when performing ground rolling attack with a roll at a very slow speed despite this being an action one can usually perform. Adjusted the animation of the Griscabrella when being launched and reduce its brightness. Huh? But the Griscabrella doesn't launch anything. It reduces brightness? What brightness? Fixed an issue that caused players to sometimes clip into terrain if they touched the lower part of a walls after an attack. That caused the triple link strike guide to not follow the movement of a flyfish when it hit the flyfish's cockpit. Where the Grisco's Patana couldn't damage a stinger. It sometimes caused multiple big shots to spawn from the same spot. Oh. That's not meant to happen? That'll reduce the even more big shots. So we'll have even less big shot annoyances. Fixing should sometimes call the golden eggs on top of the egg basket of a player, defeat a snatcher flying over it. Oh yeah, that thing. Glad that's fixed. Addressed an issue that caused slowdown to occur when players are in certain places on the Maroon Space stage. Fixing an issue during co-op mode that made a cannon unusable if a player got splattered while in it. Oh yeah, I think I've seen that issue before. Good, that's fixed. During Goalie Seeking mode, where if a gusher was activated just before the wave ended, the gusher would stay active in the next wave as well. Oh, that's not good. That wasn't fixed. Made it so that the mothership comes to steal golden eggs from the egg basket when it has no eggs inside during mothership waves. Chinooks will not come out of the mothership. Huh? Oh, I see. I wonder if that'll fix that exploit. Then, interesting. Fixing an issue that caused slamming lids to rise unnaturally high in certain areas on spawning ground stage. I wonder if they'll change that exploit. Fixing the issue on the Maroon's base stage that sometimes caused golden eggs to fall and stick onto the side of the boat when the snatcher carrying them got splattered. Okay, that's good. Fixing the issue that caused stingers and drizzlers to greatly overlap in certain areas on the Maroon's base stage. Okay, that's good. Where players' friends had just worked the ship with didn't appear in front of Grisco afterward. That prevented players from getting a big run badge if communication error occurred at a specific time. It affected players less in progress if they did less than one of the job basics after a special web occurred in their prior shift. Hmm. Okay. That'll reduce. That'll make all these bug fixes will just make salmon run a bit easier, except for the pathing one that might make it harder because it's actually functioning more correctly. But okay, mostly it sounds like it'll be slightly easier. Use those fixes. Fixes apply for fixing the issue that caused some of the floats being set up during the Splatfest sneak peek did not display. Fixing the issue that caused players to look different than usual when taking photos on a Splatfest float. It caused players advertised to do not do poses designated by the player when taking photos on a Splatfest float. Under fixes, fixing the issue that prevented stickers from the Splash Mob gear brand from showing up. That sometimes caused a line indicating how many rank points we needed until the next rank to be displayed in the wrong position, giving the impression that a player had skipped a level. This occurred when players earned rank points equal to the amount needed to rank up. I think I might have had that happen to me once. Where gear with the 4-star power would sometimes earn one fewer XP than it should. Oh. Okay, good, that's fixed. With replays that caused the battle action to defer from the original battle, when navigating through a video, for example, a player who should be on the stage could appear to have been splattered, etc. Where certain battle replays would cause the game to crash or cause part of the game display to disappear. Where selecting start over in the menu to replay a battle sometimes resulted in Brawlers being in a different state than in the first replay. With private battles on shoulder, where only camera options and no player settings could be reset even if reset options were turned on. Where after a player turned on reset options in the shoulder, the setting would remain on when they set a private battle, private job in the lobby or Grisco. That sometimes prevented the sort feature on the equip menu from working correctly. In Ammonite's and Atlantis, where if players tried to change their shape equipped gear, the changes would not be applied to some parts. Where if a player was trying something on in a shop and they moved to another shop from the main menu, they would start out in the trying on state in the other shop. Oh. In Ammonites, where dueling weapons appeared smaller than usual while players tried them out. Where performing certain actions while after talking to Merch would cause the A button to stop working on the menu screen, preventing the player from proceeding. Where if the player switched from listen to Splatcast to watch Splatcast, the X battle stages would not be shown on active Splatcast when multiple maps and modes were updated. In the match menu, where performing certain actions would cause the battle stats to display to be duplicated notifications. During the recon, where players who touched the ring make a shield while in swim form on the ring, Krail will continue to take damage until they got splattered instead of falling. Where applying certain filters during the photo shoot will cause the colouring of the stage to change after ending the photo shoot. Where if a player used a timer during the photo shoot and then placed the Rainmaker checkpoint before picking up again, the amount of time the player held the Rainmaker wouldn't be reset. Where sub-weapons held in the player's hands wouldn't show up correctly in photos if they used a timer during a photo shoot. Where the effect that indicates when a charger or a stringer is fully charged wouldn't show up in photos if a player used a timer during a photo shoot. Where applying certain filters during a photo shoot on certain stages would make it extremely difficult to see the screen. Where the in color of an amiibo's weapon would sometimes appear to be different color than the amiibo if certain weapons, flat roll, etc. were equipped. Fixed an issue where a player chose change gear then go and then change their gear. The gear they changed into would sometimes be applied to a battle result screen for the previous battle. Addressed an issue that sometimes caused slowdown to occur when players regain control of their characters after finishing battle return to the lobby. Fixed an issue that caused the shoulder part of certain clothing placed in the locker to stretch out naturally. Fixed an issue where players be unable to enter the locker room if communication error occurred at a certain time after they entered their locker in the first time. For the first time. Alright, and then there's the previous one. Alright, that's everything here. Well, thanks for watching and going over this with me. Leave likes, dislikes, comments, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye.